Today, we will discuss about the nature of the roots of quadratic equations. So before that, i-discuss muna natin yung mga following terminologies, which is real numbers and non-real numbers. So ano bang ibig sabihin ng real numbers? Kapag sinabing real numbers, are the numbers which includes both rational and irrational numbers. So ano ba yung rational at irrational numbers? Kapag sinabing rational, it is a number that can be expressed as the ratio of two integers. Like for example, 0, 1, 2, 3. Itong mga numbers na to can express as fraction. Pwede tayong maglagay ng over 1. Diba? 0 divide 1 is 0. 1 divide 1 is 1. 2 divide 1 is 2. 3 divide 1 is 3. And then, we have 1/3, 4/3. Lahat ng numbers na kaya nating i-express as fraction, that is, rational numbers. So, how about we have 0.33. This is also rational numbers. Bakit? Kasi itong repeating decimal, we can express this as 1 over 3. 0.333 that is also the same as 1 over 3. And then we have 1.5. Yung 1.5 is also equal to 3 halves. Okay, so pwede pa rin siyang gawing fraction. And itong mga number na to, lahat to ay rational. Basta kapag yung number na yun ay pwedeng express as fraction, rational number yun. So how about irrational? Pag sinabing irrational, it is a number that cannot be written as a simple fraction. Hindi siya kayang isulat as fraction. Let's say for example, we have the famous irrational number, which is the value of pi. So for irrational, we have the value of pi. Bakit? Ano bang value ng pi? 3.14516 dire-diretso. And continuously. Itong number na to cannot express as fraction. Hindi siya kayang i-express. Another example of irrational number is the square root of 2. Ang square root of 2 ay hindi kayang i-express as fraction. And what is the value of the square root of 2? We have 1.4142135 and so on. Hindi siya kayang isulat as a simple fraction. Another example is we have the golden ratio and so on. So now since you've already understand what are the real numbers, ano naman yung mga not real numbers? O yung mga tinatawag na non-real numbers. So kapag sinabing not real numbers, these are the numbers that are not real. And it is also called as imaginary numbers. Kaya nga not really numbers. There are imaginary number. So ano mga example ng mga not real numbers or non-real numbers? We have the square root of -4. Diba na-discuss na natin to? Kapag nag-i-square root tayo ng negative numbers, the answer is always imaginary. So, what is the square root of 4? 2. And then, maglalagay tayo ng I, which means imaginary. Kasi, walang square root ang negative numbers. Kaya, naglalagay tayo ng imaginary numbers. So, another example of not real numbers is square root of -16. Okay, so bakit? Kasi, as what I said, all numbers na may negative na ini-square root is always imaginary. Okay, so kailangan nyo itong tandaan if we are dealing with the nature of roots of quadratic equations. So again, kapag sinabing real numbers, it can be rational or irrational. So it can be decimals or fractions, whole number, and so on. So pag sinabing not real numbers, ito yung mga imaginary numbers na wala sa number line. Since alam nyo na yung mga important terminologies, we can now proceed to our topic, which is nature of the roots of quadratic equations. So the value of b squared minus 4ac is called the discriminant. So the roots of quadratic equations can be described by using the discriminant even without solving the value for the roots. So ibig sabihin, kaya nating malaman yung natures of the quadratic equations by just using the formula for the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so ito yung mga nature of the roots of quadratic equations. So number 1, we have b squared. Kung ang b squared minus 4ac natin o yung discriminant natin is equal to 0, kung 0 yung nakuha natin na sagot, therefore, yung roots ng quadratic equations natin ay rational numbers at equal. Okay? So, ibig sabihin yung roots ng quadratic equation natin ay pwedeng 4, 4, parehas 4, 5, 5, or 6, 6, 1 half, 1 half, 1 half. Basta rational at equal sila kapag ang nakuha natin ay 0. So, paano naman kapag ang nakuha natin, using discriminant formula, ang nakuha natin ay greater than 0, mas mataas sa 0. So, ibig sabihin, nakakuha tayo ng 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. At yung number na yon na nakuha natin ay perfect square. So, to be specific, ang nakuha natin ay 1, 4, 16, 9, 25, 121, 144, and so on. So, kung yun yung nakuha natin, ibig sabihin, yung roots natin ay rational, pero hindi sila equal. Okay, hindi kagaya dito, rational pero equal. Dito, hindi sila equal. So, example, ibig sabihin, ang roots niya ay, for example, yung unang roots ay 1 half. Yung sumunod na roots ay 2. So, rational sila. Diba? Pero hindi sila pantay, hindi sila equal. Another example is, the first root is 3, the second root is negative 3. Okay? So, next naman, paano naman kung makakuha tayo ng, yung discriminant na nakuha natin na value is greater than 0, mas mataas sa 0, pero hindi perfect square. Hindi perfect square kagaya ng 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Diba yun yung mga number na greater than 0 but not perfect square. So, ibig sabihin, ang roots ng equation na yun, ng quadratic equation na yun ay irrational and are not equal. So, hindi rin equal. Ano ba yung mga rational numbers? Ito yung mga numbers that cannot express as simple fraction. Let's say, for example, yung first root is square root of 2. The next root is negative square root of 2. Hindi sila equal and also irrational. Hindi kayang gawing fraction as a simple fraction. So, how about kung yung nakuha nating discriminant value is less than 0? Mas mababa sa 0. Ano ba yung mga number na mas mababa sa 0? We have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Those are the numbers. Those are the negative numbers to be specific kapag mas mababa sa 0. So, kapag ang nakuha natin ay mga negative numbers, therefore, ang roots ng quadratic equation natin has no real roots. Ibig sabihin, yung roots ng quadratic equations natin ay square root of negative 4, square root of negative 16, square root of negative 25, like that. Okay, so you have to memorize all these 4 nature of roots of quadratic equations for us to easily identify kung ano ba yung mga roots na makukuha natin. Okay? So we have our first example, which is x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals 0. So para ma-solve natin discriminant value, kailangan muna natin i-identify yung mga values ng a, b, and c. So ano ba yung value ng a natin dito? 1. Ang value naman ng b natin dito is negative 10. And then for our c is positive 25. Okay. So using the formula for discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so equate tayo. Yung b natin is negative 10. Then right squared minus 4. Ano ba yung nakuha nating a? 1. And then yung c natin is 25. So again, yung value ng b natin is negative 10, open and close parenthesis, squared, minus, sabi sa formula, 4a, yung 1, yung a natin, and then c is 25. So, negative 10 times negative 10 is 100. Okay, so lalagay natin dito. Next is negative 4 times 1. The answer is negative 4. So, negative 4 times 25, the answer is negative 100. 100 minus 100, the answer is 0. So, 0 yung final answer natin. Ngayon, babalik tayo dito sa nature of roots of quadratic equations. Ang sabi dito, kapag ang nakuha natin sa b squared minus 4az ay equals to 0, then the roots are rationals and are equal. Susulat natin rational and equal. So, bakit rational and equal? Kasi 0 yung nakuha natin. Okay, so for our second example, we have 3x squared plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. So, since naka-standard form siya, kaya na nating hanapin yung mga values ng a, b, and c. So, for our a is 3. Yung b natin is 2. Yung c natin is negative 5. Okay, use the formula for discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. Ang value ng b natin ay 2. 2. Maglalagay tayo ng squared. Kasi sa nakalagay sa formula, then write negative 4a. A natin is 3. And then yung c natin is negative 5. Okay? So, 2 times 2, hindi yan 2 times 2 Dalawang beses mong ita-times yung 2 sa sarili niya. Like this one, 10 times 10, 100. Okay, so 2 times 2, 4. Next, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Right? So, negative 12, kasi pang magkaiba ng sign, negative. Okay, so negative 12 times negative 5, the answer is positive 60. Okay, so add 4 plus 60, the answer is 64. Okay, yung 64 natin is greater than 0. Mas malaki siya sa 0, di ba? And also, perfect square. Kasi ang square root ng 64 ay 8. Okay? So, kung titingnan natin dito kapag ang nakuha natin ay mas mataas sa 0 at perfect square. Ito yun, di ba? mataas yung 64 sa 0 at perfect square pa siya. Ibig sabihin, yung roots natin ay rational but not equal. So, isusulat natin yan dito. Rational but not equal. Okay? For our third example, we have 3x squared minus 4x minus 2. So, ang value ng a natin ay 3. Ang value ng b natin is negative 4. And then yung c natin is negative 2. So, use the formula for discriminant. B squared minus 4ac. Ang value ng b natin is negative 4. Then, e-square natin. Minus 4a. Value ng a natin is 3. And then, yung c natin is negative 2. Negative 4 times negative 4. The answer is positive 16. Tandaan ninyo, pag pares ng sign, nagiging positive. So, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Then, negative 12 times negative 2, the answer is, pares negative, magiging positive 24. Okay. So, 16 plus 24, the answer is 40. Okay, yung 40 is greater than 0. Mas malaki siya sa 0. Pero yung 40, hindi siya perfect square. So, saan siya dito sa apat na to? Nandito siya. Mas malaki sa 0, yung 40, pero hindi perfect square. Therefore, yung roots niya ay irrational and not equal. So, irrational and not equal. Irrational but not equal. Okay, for our last example, we have 2x squared minus 3x plus 11 equals 0. So, let's identify the values of a, b, and c, which is 2, negative 3, and positive 11. So, gamitin natin yung discriminant formula, which is b squared minus 4ac. Ang value ng b natin is negative 3. Maglalagay tayo ng squared minus 4. Anong value ng a natin? 2. And then, yung value naman ng c natin is 11. Okay? Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay? Negative 4 times 2, negative 8. Then, negative 8 times 11, the answer is negative 88. 9 minus 88, the answer is negative 79. So, bakit negative? Kasi copy the sign of the biggest number when we absolute. And then, we subtract kasi different sign. So, that's why we get 79. Since ang nakuha natin ay negative numbers, which is less than 0, so balikan natin dito. Pag ang nakuha natin ay negative numbers, ang ibig sabihin is our equation has no real roots. Why? Because negative numbers are less than 0. Mas mababa sa 0 ang mga negative. So, has no real roots. No real roots.